What's up, everyone? Welcome back to King Anime Review. For this video, I will be reviewing episode 170 of Boruto Naruto Next Generations. Now, this was a very interesting and enjoyable episode, even more so than last week. Now, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe and click that notification bell to be notified on all of my future videos. And if you like the video, please drop a like. Now, without no further ado, let's get right into it. So, this episode was once again continuing the training between Boruto and Sarada, or should I say the training of Boruto and Sarada. And Sarada continued to train with Sasuke. Boruto got some help from Shukadai and Team Inochuka's show. And what basically the advice that Shukadai gave Boruto is he needs to focus on one point. And he thinks if Boruto focuses all of his chakra and effort on one point with his Rasengan, he'll be able to defeat any foe. So the training that Team Inichuka put Boruto through was Boruto basically throwing his Rasengan at certain targets and making sure he was focused on one point. That were basically throwing up certain points for Boruto to throw his Rasengan at. And yeah, we seen that his Rasengan started to get stronger in advance throughout the episode. It got bigger and he was putting more chakra into it and etc. Then Boruto had a conversation with Shukadai after Chocho and Inogen left. He had a conversation with Shukadai and they were talking about like carbon and like the carbon, how carbon and diamonds are basically the same, or they both something about carbon and diamonds. I'm not super familiar with that stuff, so I'm gonna have to do some research about carbon and diamonds. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to do some research on that, and I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one. But he's basically talking about like how they're similar components, but carbon, I think he said coal, or yeah, that's what he said. He was talking about. He was talking about coals and diamonds, and he said both of them have carbon components, but coal burns easier. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that's what he said. So this obviously relates to the whole Dapa situation, and it gave Boruto an idea, and even Kakashi was like, Boruto finally figured out the hint, because apparently Kakashi dropped a hint about Boruto moving a mountain, and that's the only way he's going to be able to turn the impossible into the make something that seems to be impossible possible with his Rasengan training. And at the end of then towards the end of the episode, Boruto ended up breaking that huge boulder that he couldn't break before with his Rasengan, and then he went off to tell Kakashi about his Rasengan progress, and that he finally figured out he finally made a breakthrough, and he figured out how to move a mountain, and he can break through anything. And then something very, very something that I wasn't expecting to happen. It was kind of shocking, to be honest. But I'll get to that later. Now let me talk about Sarada and her training. So that was the other part of the episode. Sarada was dodging kunai, and just a little side note here. I don't know, some of you might agree with me, some of you might disagree with me, but as of right now, currently in the anime, I'm not talking about the manga, but currently in the anime, I think Sarada is probably stronger than Boruto, and she's definitely stronger than Misuke. But I'm not talking about Sage Mode Misuke, but well, actually, yeah, she's stronger than Sage. I already got a whole video about that. But just with her Genjutsu alone, she could one-shot Misuke with Genjutsu. Now, as far as why she didn't use Genjutsu on Dapa, I don't know, but we know she can use Genjutsu. She used it on Buton in the Hidden Mist Village arc, and she used it several times. Sarada is stronger than Misuke, and right now I'll say she's stronger than Boruto as well. Currently in the anime, she's the strongest member of Team 7. That's yeah, that's just how I see it. I believe that to be factual. I already got a whole video on that. But point being, in this video, in this episode 170, we seen her dodging, and she makes a lot of progress with her Sharingan, and even Sasuke was praising her for that, because she was able to pretty much dodge all the kunai except one. And when we seen her fight against Dapa, she wasn't able to dodge all of Dapa's, all of those stone, or should I say diamond cubes, or carbon cubes that Dapa was launching at her. She wasn't able to dodge all of them. And the reason why was because, like Sasuke said when he first started training her, she's focused on one thing at a time instead of being focused on the whole area. And this episode, we seen that when the kunai was coming at her, she was focused on the whole area, and it was like this red line that was showing her the path that she had to take to dodge all of the kunai. And I was very impressed with that, because when I first seen that in the Dapa fight, I was wondering what that was. But maybe now that I think about it, it seems like that red line that she was following is a path that guides her and allows her to use her precognition in a way to where she's able to predict a safe route for her to not be hit by the targets. And that's what precognition is. It's basically foresight. It gives you it's basically you being able to see things in slow motion and predict a way to dodge and evade certain things. That's one of the strong suits of the Sharingan, and Sarada is getting more skilled at it, because unlike in our fight against Dapa, she's able to maneuver her way through the path and figure out a accurate way through the path in an accurate way. Because like I said, at first she was focused on one target. Now she's focused on the whole area, and she's not just looking at what's directly in front of her. She's looking at the whole area of how to find a path and how to find a way to dodge the kunai and stuff. Now, like I said in my last video, my last review, I was kind of a little bit shocked that Sasuke was actually throwing kunai at Sarada to train her. I know he has faith in her. He knows she's strong. He knows about the Sharingan. He knows about precognition, and he probably knew she could do that. But still, like, that's insane. That's insanely dangerous to be throwing kunai at your daughter. Now, granted, he does have the Rinnegan, so if a kunai was ever going to come close to hurting or killing Sarada, he honestly has the power to stop it instantly, because the Rinnegan has control over attractive and repulsive forces, meaning he can literally just stop the kunai in place, or he can have the kunai come towards him and away from Sarada. Like, he can do plenty of different things. Just like when Madara almost killed him in the 4th Great Ninja War, Madara stopped Sasuke in place. Like, that's taking a advantage of attractive and repulsive forces. So Sasuke can do the same thing. He can just stop the kunai. But yeah, it looked pretty dangerous. Now Sakura came in, and she was super worried about Sarada, and she thought Sarada was pushing herself too far. And also, I almost forgot to mention this. Sarada asked Sasuke about the Mangekyo Sharingan. She said that she did some research in the library. I think she said the library about the Mangekyo Sharingan. And she said that's the Sharingan she found out that's the Sharingan that Sasuke got, and how can it and only a few people awakened it, and she was wondering how could she awaken it. And Sasuke said we'll talk about the Mangekyo Sharingan at another time. Now obviously he didn't want to tell her how to awaken the Mangekyo Sharingan, because he don't want her to ever go down that path. He don't want her to ever be in a situation where she lost someone she loves and she is in so much pain to the point where she would awaken her Sharingan. Because just like Sakura said in this episode, awakening the Mangekyo Sharingan, it requires you to depart with someone you love. And obviously they don't want Sarada to experience that. Now granted, that's gonna happen, because obviously no one lives forever, and death is a thing. So she's obviously gonna get to that point where she departs with someone she loves one day, and she's gonna awaken the Mangekyo Sharingan. But that's not a topic that Sasuke wanted to talk about at that moment, and that's understandable. Now, as far as that's one thing that confused me, as far as how Sakura actually knew how to awaken the Mangekyo Sharingan. Now, obviously, Sasuke would have told her, or most likely, that's the most likely scenario. He would have told her how he awakened his Mangekyo Sharingan. But I hope that's not just. I guess even if it was basic information, nobody will really be able to. Nobody will really care, since Sarada and Sasuke is the only ones with the Sharingan in the village, and the only last remaining Uchiha really. So yeah, that's that. Sakura was extremely worried about Sarada, and Sarada was like, "Hey, it's fine. Dad, he's just as worried about me as you are, and he's not gonna let nothing happen to me." But Sakura was still like pressuring Sarada, like, "But are you sure you're okay?" Like, and etc. Because she was really worried about her. Now, all of that stuff was amazing. This Uchiha family dynamic that we barely ever get to see in Boruto, since Sasuke is usually outside of the village. This is some great stuff. This is some really great stuff. They was having some emotional conversation. Sakura was like, well, Sarada's not weak. Sakura was like, well, something about her being not strong. not as strong as Sasuke, and Sarada is could have inherited that from her. He don't think. I mean, Sakura was seemingly expressing doubt in Sarada's ability to handle that level of training. And Sasuke was like, Sakura, I don't think you're weak at all. And obviously Sakura isn't weak. For the Sakura haters out there, she's not weak. She's nowhere near weak. Not even close. She's actually one of the strongest characters in the series. But yeah, it was just some great stuff with that Uchiha dynamic and conversation. Hinata brought Boruto lunch, and while she was on her way back to her house, presumably, she actually overheard this whole conversation that was going on, and she was listening to Sakura. So later on in the episode, she invited her and Ino went to Sakura's place, and they basically took her out for a girls' night out, and they were drinking and stuff. And Ino was kind of being a little bit kind of rude at first, and Sakura thought she was picking a fight with her, but turns out Ino was just like, we're parents of Shinobi, but we gotta have faith. That's what they have their feelings and stuff like that, but they know they gotta expect the worst. Or when they send their kids off on a mission, they gotta understand that a worst case scenario could happen where they could get hurt or even worse, potentially die. But she said that they gotta have faith and that they were just as strong. I mean, that their kids are just like how they were, how determined they were. Just like when Sakura cut her hair off, she was determined. She was determined in general to beat Ino in the tuning exams fight, and Ino mentioned that. So their kids have the same determination that they did back in the day, and that's what Ino was pointing out, and that they gotta have faith in their kids. So, yeah, so that's pretty much all the stuff with the training that happened, I'm pretty sure. And towards the end of the episode, Sarada was like, maybe I said too much to Sakura. But and then this was the shocker at the end of the episode. So Ibiki, I think that's his name, Ibiki. Yeah, Ibiki Marino. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's his name. So he basically the proctor from the tuning exams from the first round of the tuning exams back in part 1 Naruto. He showed up, and Kakashi asked him for a favor, and what the favor was to release Shijoji from prison in order to fight Boruto. I was shocked by this. I don't know if anybody else was, but I was pretty shocked by it. I was like, bro, they're letting Shijoji out to fight Boruto? Now, granted, this is an insanely great thing. This is an amazing thing, actually. Because think about it. This was the opponent that Boruto, he didn't necessarily beat in his last fight. Now, technically, Sarada and Mitsuki had to come in and help Boruto. But Boruto couldn't finish off Shijoji in his last fight. And that was in the last arc. Now, a great way to show the progress and improvement of Boruto would be to have him face and defeat someone that he couldn't previously defeat by himself. And that's great. That's great. I honestly love that. So we're gonna see Boruto versus Shijoji in next week's episode 171. And yeah, I'm pretty sure Boruto is most likely gonna beat Shijoji and show the progress of his training and the results of his training. This episode was called the New Rasengan or New Rasengan, or no, it was called A New Rasengan. And unfortunately, we didn't get to see the actual New Rasengan from Boruto, but we're going to be seeing it next week. Now, technically, you can't make an argument. Well, this episode was a clickbait title. We didn't see the Boruto's New Rasengan. But granted, we did see him learn and get the ideas for his New Rasengan, so it's not necessarily clickbait. Now, yeah, I just think the idea with Shijoji is cool, having him fight Shijoji. Now, obviously, Shijoji is not going to be able to escape or anything like that. And Kakashi and Ibiki is still going to be there. And Kakashi says he's taking full responsibility. Obviously, if anything bad happens, or if it looks like Boruto's about to lose or about to die, Kakashi will step in and stop that. But I think Boruto's going to be able to defeat Shijoji one-on-one by himself. I think he's going to be able to defeat Shijoji, and that's how we're going to see the advancement and the results of his training. Great stuff right there, and I'm looking forward to next week's episode. Now, one thing I want to point out about the preview, literally, and I'm not joking, literally, the fighting sequence that they showed in the preview is the exact same fighting sequence from Boruto Opening 6 version 3. So look up Boruto Opening 6 version 3 on YouTube, and you'll see, and compare it to the preview for episode 171. Compare episode 171 preview to Boruto Naruto Next Generations Opening 6 version 3. Well, technically it was the 4th version, but Crunchyroll has it labeled as version 3. Now, literally it's the same fighting sequence. I'm not exaggerating. I was like, wait a minute, bro, this looked exactly like the opening. But so I guess you could say that's great foreshadowing, or kind of lazy from the animators, just reusing animation. I wouldn't say it's lazy because we know exactly how hard animators work. They work insanely hard. They're underpaid and overworked. But so yeah, they probably just reused that from the opening. But I guess you can even say that's great foreshadowing from the opening. Now, anyways, that's pretty much all I gotta say about the episode. Also, oh yeah, another thing about the preview, Sakura is gonna be helping Sarada out with her training, and we actually seen Sarada dodge something from Sakura and catch Sakura by surprise, which is like, bro, you're really surprising your mother like that, someone who's one of the strongest shinobi. That's definitely showing a great progress. So I can't wait until next week's episode of Boruto Naruto Next Generation. This was a great episode. Story 10 out of 10, fantastic with the story and the build up, great stuff with that. Animation was about a 9, just great. It was basic animation, nothing wrong with it at all, just like we usually get. Now the art, there was a couple of scenes where the art was lacking, and it was looking like that artwork from that we get when Boruto get outsourced episodes. Now, for those of you who don't know what outsourced episodes are, basically Studio Period is the main studio that works on Boruto, and they outsource episodes every once in a while to smaller studios. Now, usually when they do that, the art usually takes a decline, and the artwork usually gets worse, and I do not like that at all. Now, the episode that they put for Team 7, you guys probably don't know this, but I seen a lot of people on Twitter saying that that they actually participated. So a lot of fans who are new up and coming animators helped out on Boruto on that Team 7 versus Dapa fight. They actually did the animation for that, and I was impressed with that because they actually do better animation than the outsourced episodes. Now they don't do better animation than Studio Period, but they did better animation than the outsourced episodes. So me personally, I would like to see more more animators like that, people who are getting into anime. Basically, I don't know exactly who they were. Obviously, you can't have any new animator working on it because Boruto's one of the most popular anime out there, and they gotta have very skilled people working on it. But I'd rather them have the same people who worked on that Dapa episode, Dapa versus Team 7, work on anime episodes in the future instead of outsourcing it to studios who don't necessarily have the best artwork. Anyways, with that being said, thanks for watching this long review. Like, comment, and subscribe, and comment, watch all if you watched the whole video, and let me know what you thought of the video. I mean, of the episode. Let me know what you thought of that in the comment section below. And without no further ado, time to end the video. Thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.